guys. Alright, thank you for tuning into a new video. Alright, so on the topic that we covered in the last one, what's that? Literally, I'm going to like check out. Freaking mirrors are looking like horrible. Need to like literally give them like a touch up or something. They're like either like, let's say I have like 2 left on this one, the rest are freaking like broken, and then I have maybe like no, I have like 3 left on this one. The middle finger literally broke a few days ago. My thumb, I think, broke last week during work, so it's like freaking horrible around. Alright, so we covered courts and courtroom actors in the last one, but prior to that one, we covered the non-compete clauses. And in covering the non-compete clauses, I was like literally, which one do I want to do for today? Because I literally like worked on preparing the new notes section. So as I told you guys in the last one, I literally like ran out of freaking notes to go through, so I had to freaking reference back to my PowerPoints from my associates covering criminal justice to literally find a topic that I had already set to be one of the video topics. But in doing so, like, it's a good like placeholder, but I still need the freaking basis for the other set videos to cover all of the topics. So I was like, I'm gonna pick like a few of my top favorites, cover those, and then have those set for a video. So to continue with the non-compete clause video, going to be adding in some whistleblower protection freaking info, and this one was like super freaking interesting. I was tempted to do the international banking set, which covered money laundering also, because I was like, that would be like a spicy topic to cover. Plus, it's you cover like the criminal freaking basis that was in the midst of it, so it adds like to the flow of like being super interesting. And then there was another one that I literally just done. International banking, arbitration v litigation, and that one is more so for a lot of people that I've been seeing having like cases that are like covering a bunch of freaking interesting topics overall. But in doing my research into the topic, I was like, this was a lot more interesting than I expected. I thought it was gonna be like something boring, and I was like, it's gonna be like just like covering freaking topics and like adding in the freaking info to like connect like the freaking like meanings, and then aside from that, it's gonna be like what would be the major basis towards adding in. And then I was like, I'm gonna probably have to do like case freaking research to freaking add that freaking to it or so. But then in doing so, I literally did the research, and I was like, basically these 2 freaking topics, each 1 word each, covers a major set basis for a standard of case procedures. So that one I'll probably cover in like the next one because it was super freaking interesting. But without further ado, let's start the whistleblower protection freaking breakdowns. Alright, so what is whistleblowing? Whistleblowing is the lawful disclosure of information. A disclosure reasonably believes evidence of wrongdoings to an authorized recipient. It is a mechanism to get the right information to the right people, to counter wrongdoing, and promote proper, effective, and efficient operations of IC functions. And then IC functions, I did not actually freaking do like a research set on that one, so I'm going to pull that one up now. I think I like freaking read that and probably guessed this at something else. So let's see. IC function. An integrated currency. That's more towards something that's like electronic. Let's see. IC function. Okay, there are multiple methods for IC function, legal definition, including independent contractor. Yeah, there we go. Or incident command. It may be incident command in this like standard for covering the protectorates set for the whistleblower within the company. Let's see. And efficient operation of IC functions, incident command functions, or incident command functions. Independent contractor would be something that would fall more geared towards I would say like if you were like to reference towards like picking a freaking legal representation that would be like more towards your like IC of like who represents you within the case. So in this standard, let's say incident command functions. Okay, so for the California Whistleblower Protections, there is a standard. So under the California Whistleblower Protection Act, it protects state employees and the public from retaliation when reporting improper government activity. The act also gives the California State Auditor the authority to investigate and report on improper government activities. And here are a few breakdowns that are going to cover the parameters of the California Whistleblower Protection Act. It prohibits retaliation. State employees and officials are prohibited from retaliating against employees or applicants who report improper activity. Retaliation includes intimidation, denial of promotion or appointment, and disciplinary action. It protects whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are protected from employees making rules, regulations, or policies that prevent them from being whistleblowers. So you're protected, and in the entire breakdown of this, I'm going to just kind of like break it down for you like ahead of time. If you are like in any type of situation where you're like, I need to speak out about what's going on within my workplace, the actions of my freaking coworkers, our protocols that don't follow the typical guidelines or go against legal freaking parameters, you are protected by law to speak out, to report these standards to, let's see, organizations such as the freaking FTC. As I worked in the early childhood educational field, one of the major standards is to complete a course known as the mandated reporter, and then in doing so, you are setting yourself to be somebody that will speak out against child abuse, child endangerment, and so many standards I can fall within that category. So, let's see. While popping up and helping out at this facility a few months ago, there was a family there, and let's see, I'll try to keep it as vague as possible and kind of like add in like a bit of like I'll create like a scenario basis of the story. That way it's not literally like in depth and breaking down the actual thing that took place, because it is like their own personal story, and I believe it's like still an ongoing case also. But let's see. There was a child being neglected, and then the reaction set by others within the facility or by the members of their neighborhood as they had seen the mistreatment of the child was set towards reporting it to DCFS, which is the Department of Child. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm like horrible with certain brain aspects. DCFS. Okay, the Department of Child and Family Services. So, there's a lot of us have grown through the years and have really probably heard the freaking hilarious notions towards, calling CPS, when your mother gets too angry, when there are any disagreements, it's like, I'll call CPS on you, and it's like, call CPS, you won't, or just like funny freaking notions that you may have seen in TV shows or so. That was like one of the major bases that I like went into the career thinking of. I was like, if there's anything bad going on, like, do you like call Child Protective Services? And it's like, no, you actually call the Department of Children and Family Services, and then they assist in situations as such, and they will send people out to like evaluate, start a case, and work towards, let's see, ensuring that the children are within a safe environment. And in doing so, it sets the standard for allowing workers to speak out against, actions going on against the children. And it kind of is close towards the whistleblower protections. However, whistleblower protections fall more within the parameter of speaking out against actions that are taking place within the workplace that pertain towards your work protocol standards, the actions of your employers, your fellow employees, and so on and so forth. And in doing so, it protects you so that you are able to speak out. And the reason that these laws were created was set behind the basis of a lot of people were kind of they were scared to speak out, and then in speaking out they were scared that there would be backlash, and for a lot of people there was backlash. It would be a situation where you could lose your job, you can lose your freaking benefits, you can lose access to things that you typically utilize, such as, occasional freaking overtime benefits, and then it's like you're getting cheated while in the workplace. And you're like essentially like, oh gosh, you're stifled from like progressing forward while in that freaking environment. And then it was just, and well, it sets the freaking standard for horrible freaking workplace practices. So the protectorates were set to ensure that those who would be affected by speaking out are entitled to a lot of aspects, such as, being able to have your job placement secured, your benefits, and so on and so forth. And it's a great aspect because for a lot of people that are in whistleblower situations and they have a boss who's a tad more of like a people person as opposed to a business person, their reaction, instead of, so let's see, for a business person, your major reaction will be to kind of like, think of all of the legal freaking parameters that would follow through post a whistleblower speaking out against what is going on within your company. And as a more people person type of flow, your reaction would be to literally just react as though it's like, so your friend did something wrong to you and you literally just want to like freaking just freak out about it. So it's like, I can't believe you just spoke out about what's going on in my company. You're fired. And then in doing so, the Whistleblower Protection Act will protect you from being fired. You can freaking recover your freaking position and your benefits and everything that you were entitled to, because by law you are protected to speak out against any wrongdoings within your company. It also allows whistleblowers to report. The California State Auditor allows whistleblowers to report improper activity by mail or online. So you can literally just download the form, complete the form, and mail it into an office, or you can complete an online. Let's see, I believe it's like an online. It's like an online form that's like typically they're like multi-page sets where you can literally add in information pertaining towards the location, contact information, a brief overview of what is like taking place within the workplace, and let's see, contact information for a response, and then the following final page will give you like your case information pertaining towards, contact info, a follow up on your case also, and any additional information. And then in filling out your forms online, you get like email confirmations to ensure you that your forms have been completed, they've been submitted, and that they will be reviewed within an expedient time period. And it's just a great way to ensure that each knows that their voice and what they stand for as a company, as a, let's see, oh gosh, as a company well-rounded individual, your freaking mindset will be preserved and geared towards creating a more stable work environment for you within the future. The Whistleblower Protection Act protects healthcare employees. Healthcare employees are protected from retaliation for reporting matters that affect patient safety. If an employee retaliates against a whistleblower, the employer may be. Did I say? Okay, I'm gonna hope I said employer in the beginning. If an employer retaliates against a whistleblower, the employer may be required to reinstate the employee's employment and benefits, pay lost wages for the time in which you were out of the workplace, and pay civil monetary penalties for doing so and violating the protectorates of the Whistleblower Protection Act. An employer cannot retaliate against you, and this was in the state of California. For this major subportion, you can always do research into your own home areas, and in doing so, you can gain more insight as towards the protectorates that you are ensured by law within your home regions. An employer cannot retaliate against you for exercising your rights under the Department of Labor's Whistleblower Protection laws. The Department of Labor's Whistleblower Protection laws covers the overall overview throughout the country, and the other snippets are added per region. So there are other protectorates ensured by law and other benefits that you are entitled to, or aspects that they can ensure that you're reinstated towards receiving, and just overall protectorates that are created by region. Let's see. Retaliation. Okay. So retaliation includes such actions as firing or laying off, demoting, denying overtime or promotions, or reducing pay or hours. Whistleblower Protections, the Department of Labor is here to protect your rights, and this is going to give the overview of the Department of Labor's protectorates under the Whistleblower Protection rights. Protection. An employer cannot retaliate against you for exercising your rights. Now, what is retaliation? Retaliation occurs when an employer, through a manager, supervisor, or administrator, fires an employee or takes any other type of adverse action against. Okay. I thought I was gonna pause. I was like, the last time I was in the midst of recording and a call came through, it was like, okay, we're gonna pause your freaking video until the freaking call ends, and I was like, in the midst of talking. Let's see. Okay, or takes any other type of adverse action against an employee for engaging in protected activity. An adverse action is an action which would dissuade a reasonable employee from raising a concern about a possible violation or engaging in other related protected activity. Retaliation can have a negative impact on overall employee morale. Whistleblower Protections. The Department of Labor is an organization of diverse functions that carries out its mission through a number of offices and agencies. 5 agencies enforce whistleblower and anti-retaliation laws. And I added a really freaking extensive freaking breakdown. I got the overview, and then there was more information stated for each. So I was I'm going to provide the information that follows with each of them. It covers the parameters, the protectorates, and the reason for each organization also. And I believe I added a tad more info after, because I was like, that's going to be a great overview to cover the company, the branch scope. But let's see, I'm going to double check. Because if not, oh no, I did finish it with that, but it does cover the scope of what each offers. Let's see. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. With the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, Congress created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, to ensure safe and healthful working conditions for workers by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. Mine Safety and Health Administration, MSHA. The U.S. Department of Labor's Mine Safety and Health Administration, MSHA, helps to reduce deaths, injuries, and illnesses in the nation's mines with a variety of activities and programs. The agency develops and enforces safety and health rules for all U.S. mines and provides technical, educational, and other types of assistance to mine operators. Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFCCP. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFCCP, protects workers, promotes diversity, and enforces the law. OFCCP holds those who do business with the federal government, contractors and subcontractors, responsible for complying with the legal requirements to take affirmative action and not discriminate on the basis of race, color, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, national origin, disability, or status as a protected veteran. In addition, contractors and subcontractors are prohibited from discharging or otherwise discriminating against applicants or employees who inquire about, discuss, or disclose their compensation or that of others, subject to certain limitations. So in doing so, these set the basis for things that you can speak out about. If there are any discriminatory acts taking place within your workplace, they go against the rights of the Equal Opportunities Act, the Civil Rights Acts, and so many other standards that ensure that no matter what type of disability you may have been diagnosed with, no matter your race, your sexual orientation, your gender, your religion, let's see, your national origin, your status as a protected veteran, whatever the standard may be, you are protected by law to be given the exact same amount of opportunities as anybody else is given throughout the nation. So if there are any unjust actions taking place within the workplace, always speak out against it and protect the rights of others, and also ensure that we are keeping the right people within the workplace to ensure that everybody is given an equal opportunity to show what they can freaking bring to the table throughout the nation. Wage and Hour Division, WHD. The Wage and Hour Division, WHD mission is to promote and achieve compliance with labor standards to protect and enhance the welfare of the nation's workforce. The agency enforces federal minimum wage, overtime pay, record keeping, and child labor requirements of the Fair Labor Standards Act. WHD also enforces the Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act, the Employee Polygraph Protection Act, the Family and Medical Leave Act, wage garnishment provisions of the Consumer Credit Protection Act, and a number of employment standards and worker protections that's provided in several immigration-related statutes. Veterans Employment and Training Services, VETS. The Veteran Employment and Training Service prepares Americans, veterans, service members, and their spouses for meaningful careers, providing them with employment resources and expertise, protecting their employment rights, and promoting their employment opportunities. Alright, so this is going to be the overview of what each branch offers, the protectorates that are ensured under the standards of Whistleblower Protections, and this will also be like our conclusion to this. I believe we'll be able to do this one under an hour again. So the Occupational Safety and Health Administration works to ensure you are protected from retaliation for reporting issues relating to employee safety, consumer product and food safety, environmental protection, fraud and financial issues, health insurance, and transportation services. The Mine Safety and Health Administration works to ensure you are protected from retaliation for identifying hazards, asking for inspections, or refusing to engage in unsafe acts. Laws Section 105C of the Mine Act prohibits persons from discriminating against minors. Oh gosh, excuse me guys. I'm so edit that out, but I haven't edited any of these videos, so this is gonna be the one that goes in the vault of me like literally burping on camera. I'm so sorry. Applicants for employment and representatives of minors for exercising statutory rights, especially concerning safety or health activities, such as identifying hazards, asking for MSHA inspection, or refusing to engage in unsafe acts. Statutory rights protected under the Mine Act are expansive. A minor has the right to refuse to work if the minor has a good faith, reasonable belief that a specific working condition threatens the minor's health or safety. And this is why I always end up like tripping over my words in the midst of this, you guys. File or make a complaint under the Mine Act of a hazardous condition or a violation of the safety or health standards to a federal or state agency, a mine operator, an operator's agent, or a miner's representative. Institute, testify, or assist in any proceeding conducted under the Mine Act. Have medical evaluations leading to a possible transfer to another job location because of harmful physical agents and toxic substances. Withdraw from the mine for not having the required safety and health training. So in doing so, these are standards where you are literally protected to file a friggin' report to ensure that the proper protocols and procedures are followed, make sure that you guys are like trained properly, that you guys are given the assistance needed while working with the freaking company, and so much more. Exercise any statutory rights afforded by the Mine Act. Who is covered under these standards? Minors, representatives of minors, applicants for employment, all persons including supervisors, contractors, construction and or demolition workers, and truck drivers. Working at a mine is considered to be Working at a mine, you are considered to be minors and may exercise the rights given to them by the Act. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. You are protected from retaliation, intimidation, threats, coercion, harassment, and discrimination because you have engaged in protected activity under any equal employment opportunity law as stated before, enforced by OFCCP, such as filing a discrimination complaint, providing information to OFCCP during a compliance evaluation, or opposing practices made unlawful by equal opportunity laws. The laws covered within this speaking overview include the Executive Order 11246. Executive Order 11246 requires affirmative action and prohibits federal contractors from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. Contractors also are prohibited from discriminating against applicants or employees because they inquire about, discuss, or disclose their compensation or that of others subject to certain limitations. Section 503 of the Rehabilitation Act. Section 503 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 prohibits federal contractors and subcontractors from discriminating in employment against qualified individuals with disabilities and requires employers take affirmative action to recruit, hire, promote, and retain these individuals. Alright, the Vietnam Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act. This one's going to cover the scope of veterans returning to the workplace and the discrimination that took place during that period and the laws that were created to ensure that they were still giving the rights and protectorates that they would have had beforehand and that they are entitled to. The Vietnam Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act, VEVRAA, prohibits federal contractors and subcontractors from discriminating in employment against qualified protected veterans and requires employers to take affirmative action to recruit, hire, promote, and retain these individuals. Individuals or groups may file complaints alleging retaliation or interference under any of the laws enforced by OFCCP. Wage and Hour Division, DWHT, works to ensure you are protected from retaliation for reporting issues relating towards minimum wage, overtime pay, record keeping, lie detector testing, family and medical leave, and youth employment, regardless of your immigration status. The laws and standards that fall within this scope include the Fair Labor Standards Act. The Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, establishes minimum wage, overtime pay, record keeping, and youth employment standards affecting employees in the private sector and in federal, state, and local governments. The Family and Medical Leave Act, the FMLA, entitles eligible employees of covered employers to take unpaid job protected leave for specified family and medical reasons with continuation of group health insurance coverage under the same terms and conditions as if the employee had not taken leave. Employee Polygraph Protection Act. The Employee Polygraph Protection Act generally prevents employers engaged in interstate commerce from using lie detector tests either for pre-employment screening or during the course of employment with certain exemptions. Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act. The Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act, MSPA, protects migrant and seasonal agricultural workers by establishing employment standards related to wages, housing, transportation, disclosures, and record keeping. The MSPA also requires fair labor contractors to register with the U.S. Department of Labor, DLL. Who is covered under this standard? Any worker protected by any of the individual laws listed above is protected by their anti-retaliation provisions. Coverage differs among WHD's laws. So please refer to the online resources offered by the Department of Labor covering these standards and any other information insight that you may need covering your set case, your set group that you are working to file a claim for, and just overall know that it's a great resource to utilize and strengthening a freaking case for bringing forth justice within your workplace. Veterans Employment and Training Services. You are protected from retaliation based on your current or former military status. Laws included within this parameter include the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, USERRA, protects service members' reemployment rights when returning from a period of service in the uniformed services, including those called up from the Reserves or National Guard, and prohibits employer discrimination based on military service or obligation. Who is covered under these standards? Covers past and present members of the uniformed services, applicants for membership in the uniformed service, individuals that are obligated to serve in the uniformed service, veterans and members of the active and reserve components of the U.S. Armed Forces. Alright, you guys, that's going to be the major basis and the scope covering whistleblower protection rights, the agencies set to assist in ensuring that your rights are preserved, and overall, those are the major branches that you will go and look for to figure out what overall career scope you would fall within and what branch you would contact directly to gain assistance pertaining towards your issue within the workplace. But there are also other resources and forms that you can utilize. You can freaking send tips to the Federal Trades Commission if there is something going on in your company that falls within the parameters of that. The SEC also can cover freaking things typically pertaining towards finances, but so many other things also. There are also workers' protection freaking agencies that will literally work to ensure that your rights are freaking covered and protected, and all of these are government agencies that can help and assist you in doing so. So when you're doing your research, don't reach out and go complete a freaking form on a random website for a random freaking company and then go nothing happened after, and then I got a bunch of calls from people and they're I'll represent you, I'll be your lawyer, and then it's no, I wanted you guys take action and to literally get something done, and then when they do call you, you guys are gonna be on the phone hello? Yeah, I do need a lawyer. Alright, I'm gonna take this case on. I might lose my job in the process, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And then it's what are you freaking doing? No, you literally just send a freaking tip through and you make sure that it gets through to the freaking agency that it needs to get through, and they will handle it within time, and in doing so, they'll work towards bringing justice to you and all of your fellow employees within the freaking workplace, and ensure that the rights that are preserved and ensure to each of you are preserved. Alright, you guys, I love you. Nearly freaking out of breath at this point. I literally just got back from the store too. I was in the midst of freaking climbing out of bed. My freaking air mattress had literally just completely ruined my vibe for the morning. It literally, as I told you guys the last one, it's been deflating and stuff like that. So I was attempting to freaking patch the hole. I went to freaking Advanced Auto Parts after freaking going to Walgreens yesterday to go grab some super glue. And then I was you know what, this should freaking work. I'm gonna freaking just go to Advanced Auto Parts, some putty or the spray that you spray on the boats or so. It's that black spray that freaking fixes any hole and stuff like that, and then covers it up and insulates it so it's safe to freaking use later. And I was I'm gonna do something like that, and then maybe it should fix the freaking situation with the hole. I couldn't find it in Walgreens, so I was I'm gonna go to Advanced Auto Parts and maybe they'll have it. They had putty and they had a bunch of glue, and then I wasn't sure which one would freaking work. So I got up to the cash register and I had this freaking putty set, and I was alright, the putty will probably work. And then I got one of the big ones because I was just in case. I literally tried this over and over again and it doesn't work. at least if I like have like a big freaking glob of it, I have like something to work with before I officially give up on the project. So I got the freaking glue. No, I got the putty, and then I talked to the freaking guy at the register, and I was like, "Which one should I use if I'm like trying to patch like a hole? Like, say if I wanted to patch like a hole in a tire or so." And then he was like, "So how big is like the hole in the tire?" And I was like, "Actually, it's a hole in a freaking like air mattress." So I'm like trying to figure out what can I use here that would be like the best thing to use for literally patching a hole in a freaking air mattress. And he was like, "Well, I think I know what might be better for you." So then he like walked me over to the freaking like glue section, and then he had like this freaking like glue, and I was like, "Oh, this will be freaking like perfect." And then it was like the glue with the patches, and I was like, "Okay, well, should I grab like a second freaking tube of glue?" And he was like, "No, you should be like fine." I was like, and then I was telling him like beforehand, I was like, I have like patches at home already, so I should be covered with the patches. And then I have the freaking, this will like cover the glue and the patches that'll like fit like I guess the bed freaking stud. So I mean I should be fine, right? But should I grab some more glue still? And he was like, "Well, if you already have the patches and you're not gonna need the freaking like container with like the small set of glue and the additional patches, you can just like go for the freaking glue set." And I was like, "Okay, so this should be freaking perfect, and we'll see how this freaking worked." And then I got it home. I attempted to patch it again, and then I've been using like I ran out of freaking like glue like a decent bit ago, so I've literally been trying like everything to freaking like patch it. I literally tried like freaking I did like freaking paper towels, a freaking like golden face masks to like literally just get it to stop shooting the air. It kept shooting the freaking air out, and I could not get it to patch. I went through like a bunch of freaking glue. I went through the freaking glue that comes with the freaking bed set. I went through freaking my nail glue. I went through freaking just so much stuff trying to freaking patch it, and nothing freaking worked. And then on like one of the first holes that popped up, I was able to like patch it, and I used like my freaking like the freaking patch that did not work whatsoever. Like the air just constantly just escaped through it after. So then I was like, all right, maybe if I just like leave the patch that's already on there, and then if I use my nail glue, it'll dry like really quickly, and it'll create like this freaking like strong freaking like basis around it, where it creates like this freaking layer of glue that'll hopefully eventually freaking dry and then just contain the freaking airflow through it, and then it just did not work. So then I was like googling stuff, and I was like, how do I just freaking like make like glue? Because I was like, I literally just spent like all my funds on like transportation and freaking like rent and freaking food and stuff. So I was like, how the heck do I freaking do this like on a freaking budget? And they were like, well, it's super easy. You just use some like I think it's like, oh, you can't see it. It's like over. It's like on the other side. There's like a oh, okay, there we go. There's like a mason jar like right there, and it has this freaking like this DIY freaking glue freaking stuff, and it was like, so you're gonna make it out of like flour and water, and it's super easy and simple. You just literally like mix it up, you heat it for a bit, and then you freaking just like it's good to go. And then it's like you don't make it super thick, you don't make it like super like you don't want it to be like let's see like as thick as freaking flour with a hint of water. Like you don't want it to be doughy. You don't want it to be like literally like the consistency of water, but it's going to be like this nice like kind of like gluey like pasty kind of flow. And I was like, okay, let's see like how this goes. So I was using that, and that kind of like it, honestly for paper mache and stuff like that, it's freaking like perfect. I like tried it on the freaking bed, and then it like ended up like freaking like kind of like drying for like a bunch of major parts of it. Like the parts that are like on the outer perimeter away from like the actual hole, those parts dried. But then the parts that were like where the actual hole was were not drying like whatsoever. It was freaking like ridiculous. So I freaking ended up trying like patch those up, and then I freaking like I ran out of like so I ran out of paper towels that I was like using to freaking like create like a freaking like paper mache slash what the heck is it not sheetrock, oh gosh, plaster. I was trying to do like the plaster method, but with like freaking like a paper mache version slash like a glue version slash like a freaking like face mask version and stuff like that. I was like, as long as there's like that basis that's like covering the hole, and then that's supposed to literally block it, and then it has that freaking other layer over it that'll be made with the freaking paper on top of it that'll freaking dry out and create this thick layer. It should be able to contain it. Now on the freaking first set of holes, it literally did that, and it was like freaking perfect, because I was like, I've literally gone through all of my glue, and I was like, if this method did not work, I was going to be so freaking like, just like, what the heck. But when I got to literally patching the freaking final hole in this, it went from being like a freaking hole that was like the size of like that freaking like little, can you like see it? That little like dot, it was like that freaking size. And then yesterday when I went to like check it, it was like that freaking big. I was like, I don't even know how to patch that. Like, how do you even freaking patch that? So I had the bed like blow it all the way up. Cause like this is gonna be like the easiest way to freaking like patch it while it has the air in it. So it's like if I try to patch a hole that's like that freaking big, I'm literally gonna have to like freaking, I don't even know. Like I was just like, I don't freaking know how to like even like patch those. So I freaking, it's like I'm just gonna have to work with it like this. So I literally had like, I ended up like going to grab some like tissue from my bathroom, and I literally just dipped it in the freaking like paper mache like flour water freaking set glue kind of thing. And then I was like literally just plugging the hole with that, and then like freaking covering all the freaking sides, trying to get the like paper to stay like matted down, so it would literally like stop the air from escaping. It was just not working whatsoever. So then I ended up having to throw like a bunch of different like layers over it. I ended up creating like a freaking layer that was like this freaking like thick of just freaking like this gluey freaking paper flow. And then I covered the top of it in the freaking glue, and then I added a bunch of paper on top of it to make sure that it like didn't like leak through after, and it was just all bad. I woke up this morning and I was like still like on the freaking floor after. I was like, this freaking bad, I am like done with you. So like in the end of it, before I finally said goodbye to it, I literally like I shanked it up with like my freaking with my nail file. I was like, I'm so done with this. I'm like literally, I literally didn't even want to like drain the air out of it. I was like, this will freaking drain the air out of it, and this will be my final like goodbye to you. I wanted to do like a full on like completely like dramatic moment where I was like, and then I wanted to like pull it like that, but then I couldn't do it because it would have literally broken my nail file. I tried though. I tried. I was gonna do like the freaking like full on like like you know when somebody's like angry in a movie and then they like freaking like stab like a pillow or something, and then they like pull it after, and then it's like feathers shooting everywhere. I was going for that, but like the air match is so far, so like if I can like get it like that, like by the time I freaking pull my hand back, I'll probably like be on the floor with all the air that just escaped from it. Sadly, it didn't work, and then I freaking went to Target to go get a new air mattress. By the time I got back, the bed still hadn't fully deflated, so I had to freaking pop the freaking hole out of the inside of it and freaking deflate it the old way. But it had this cute headboard on the back of it, so I literally just like flipped the freaking mattress. Like I rolled it in on itself, and then I kept the headboard up. So now I'm using the headboard as like a freaking like extra pillow basis to match my freaking new air mattress. So now I have my freaking pillows sitting on top of it, and then I can use it to like literally like I'm using it right now to literally like hold up my tripod, and then I'll freaking like put my laptop on it to like watch my movies at night. That way I don't have to worry about having it like either like right on the side of me or like on my bed with me. I can literally just have it like on the freaking on the backboard, like extra pillow thingy. But yeah, I was super sad. My mom like got it for me because when I first moved into my apartment, I had like no furniture, and so I was like sleeping on the freaking floor. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's a no go. Like I'll freaking like grab you one like ASAP." So she literally did, and she ordered it for me, and I got it here like a few days after my birthday. And I was so happy because she got it, and she was like, "I'm gonna grab you this, I'm gonna grab you this," and then I was like, "Wait, no, but I really want this," and then she got it for me, and I was like, "It's so cute, it's so comfy too, it's like perfect," and then it has a cute little headboard added onto it, so it makes the freaking airbed flow even more freaking just adorable. It's supposed to be like my first freaking like apartment freaking my first official apartment flow. And I was like, it's so freaking cute. And then it has a headboard and it just makes it like just even better. And then the freaking air mattress just freaking got like multiple freaking holes in it. And then I forgot to check the warranty. I checked the warranty when I got this new one, and it had like a 90-day warranty on it. So I'm like, I'm guessing the other one had like a freaking warranty on it too. But then I was like, after I shanked it up, I'm pretty sure I can't freaking pretty sure I avoided the warranty on that one. But sadly enough, moving into my new freaking apartment within I think like Marchish or so. So I'm like, I'll probably just bring this air mattress with me or grab like a bigger one that's like still like a twin size. So my room's gonna be like a decent bit smaller. It's gonna be like half the size of my freaking like room or so. It's gonna be like this freaking portion and like back. And then I have like, let's see. So there's like, so half of those is like will constitute the other freaking portion of my room that's like off camera over there. So it's gonna be like literally just like this freaking size. And I think I get tad freaking yeah, like maybe like literally like this freaking size ish. Maybe like a bed's freaking small. Like I would say maybe like from like this area where I am, plus like backish where the freaking camera, like behind the camera, up to like right in front of the chair. I think it's like how big the freaking like next room is gonna be. So I'm like, all right, overall the freaking twin size will be perfect, and then I'll freaking grab like a freaking twin size. It's like a bit like bigger. This one was like literally like something like $15 or so, which was like freaking perfect. And I was able to grab a new tennis racket, you guys. As you guys know, my freaking pink one and my blue one were like my freaking faves. But I lost them on the freaking way here, so I had to grab a freaking new one, and there was a purple one, so I was like, freaking yeah. And I found the freaking tennis courts on my way to freaking Target earlier today, so I'm like, I'm happy and excited. And there were people there too. I was so freaking stoked. I think like the only time that I've ever seen tennis courts completely like empty happened to be the tennis courts that were like literally right down the street from me in Chicago. Aside from that, every freaking other set that I've seen have had like a bunch of people there, so I'm like, I can find somebody who like might be able to like play like a practice match with me or so. That way I can have like a bunch of fun. But if not, I literally love like practicing anyways. It's freaking great for the heart and soul, and plus it gets me like active. Cause I get lazy sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if I want to freaking do anything aside from like literally like going out and like getting fresh air or like freaking working on a freaking drawing or so. And then in doing so, it's like, well, I can always freaking play some freaking it's like it's freaking fun. And and then also, okay, so the racket I got for like $20. It's like super freaking cute. And then I got the freaking like balls. They were supposed to be like $3 freaking bucks, and I was so open. Like I saw the balls, and I was like, I don't know. Like when I got my last set, it came with the balls already, and I have like 3 balls already. So I was like, okay. And I think I paid like a total of like $60 for it. So I was expecting the freaking pack of balls to be like $10 or so, and then they were like on sale for like, well, it's Target also. So they were freaking again on sale for like $3, which I was like, that's freaking awesome. I don't even know if it was like a sale. I think it's like the standard price order so, but it's a steal. So I was like super excited. Then I got to the freaking register, and one of the assistants helped me freaking like add it in because it didn't have a barcode. And then in adding it in, it was even more on sale. It was literally, let's see, as opposed to paying like $3 plus tax, I ended up literally getting it for like I think $1 and like a few freaking maybe like $1.25-ish or so. And I was like, it was such a steal. I should have gotten more. So it's been a fun freaking morning overall. And then you guys, I got my freaking new scooter too. It is so freaking cute. But I don't know what the heck is going on with that. I think the freaking brakes are freaking like acting up again. Like they're not acting up, but they get loud. Like when I first freaking opened it and set it up, the freaking brakes were like super freaking like, and they were doing it like the entire freaking like drive to freaking Target earlier. So I was like, I thought it was a seat for a bit, so I kept like adjusting myself on the seat. And I was like, maybe the seat's like making like a weird freaking noise or so. And then I was like, you know what, it's probably definitely the freaking brakes again. And then it literally like kind of like simmered down a tad bit, but I still definitely think it's like the brakes or so. I'm probably gonna have to like pop up over at like AutoZone, or should I say O'Reilly's again, and see if the freaking guy there or any of the other associates can help me figure out what the heck that noise is and how to fix it. But I'm gonna guess I'll probably be like literally add like some oil or so, or like maybe like freaking I don't know, loosen up the freaking like brake mechanism so it isn't like so close to it. But overall, it's not like bad. So I want to get it checked out. That way, before I freaking decide to pull the freaking brakes the next time, I don't have to worry about literally either shooting over the front of it, or should I say like completely just flipping over and flying with its freaking thing with its freaking side spaces, or freaking like literally just not being able to break in time, and then the next scene you know I'm spot by a freaking car. So alright, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, DKHLegalAid, X DKHLegalAid, and TikTok, DKH.legal.aid. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. We'll be covering, let's see, either money laundering or arbitration and litigation. And I have a fun one coming to you guys soon covering cryptocurrencies, which is super fun in itself. And I have some great freaking facts for you guys. Talk to you later. Love you.